Oh, says I'm live. Yeah, there's a million reasons I could pick. I'll pick a couple. Lack of finish in the red zone. I'm gonna do the ones on the team first. Lack of finish in the red zone early on. The defense not making the adjustments, especially in the second half. Got afraid of the stretch run. Thought that they were going to get gashed downhill on it again. It was a brutal hold on that call on Poyer that did not get called. The replay is all over the place, and you can watch it yourself. And then they ran a little play action to A.J. Brown off that and some key down and distance situations. But man, the NFL, this league is terrible in terms of, and just let's just say nickel and dime penalties, your odd hold, the roughing on Allen where it was clearly a guy launched at his head, long launches at his head after the referees blow the whistle and the play is done for like 5 seconds and he comes launching at the quarterback's head and they're on the headsets for 5 minutes. Again, this league is ridiculous. It sets it up. It sets itself up for this. So whatever speculation or whatever ridicule it gets, it fully deserves. Officials on the field call it a first down. The man in the sky, the invisible man, calls down and says no. I put up a picture on Twitter. Vicious Sid at Vicious Sid, Vicious155. I'm sorry, at Vicious155. He's right there. He's right there for the line to gain. Right there for the line to gain, and no review. And the Sky judge that the competition committee said doesn't exist, they don't want, apparently exists because he judged the biggest call of the game right there. Refs on the field called it, overruled by somebody who does not exist. How does that make sense? By the Sky judge, the competition committee said does not exist. They said they didn't want it. Apparently it exists. But you're going to get into dogfights. You're going to get into dogfights. You're going to get into it. This is, football teams are like fighters. You have your contenders, you have your prospects, you have your up and comers, you have your journeyman, and you have your, just your fluffers. You have your guys who just come in, you beat them up, you get your rookie your up and coming prize fighter some experience, and you're going to take some punches and you're going to give some punches. They take on the identities of prize fights. True contenders punch back when they get punched, and the Bills as a whole are a real contender. The kickoff return penalty was legit, but ultimately Isaiah McKenzie took it back, and it was called back by a hold. It was a hold. I can't deny that it wasn't, and the Bills are right there. People will argue, kick the field goal, play for overtime, give your team a chance to win. I like to go for the jugular, kill shot mentality right there. I would have liked a run pass option just because it was so close. I would have liked the chance to give Allen a couple of more options on the move. And I'll give it, Simmons just blew it up after if you look at the aerial, Feliciano just got destroyed in the A gap. He got creamed. I don't know who cleaned him out of there so Simmons could penetrate, but it was rough. It was bad watching him get blown out of there. And I don't know, I'm sorry if I'm at a loss for words. I'm sorry if I'm disjointed. It's just really, really frustrating because this is second straight year we have to sit on an L, like similar, same kind of L. Last year a hail a Hail Mary. This year you're down there and you're going for the kill shot. You're down by 3 and you can't finish. And it was just, and then the defense just not making the adjustments, being scared of Henry running downhill on the stretch play, the hold on the long touchdown run on Poyer was a no call. It was terrible. And oh man, I don't have a problem. Maybe he picked the wrong gap, but his footing was bad too. He had no traction going downhill, and it was tough. I have to rewatch it again, and the D was disappointing. They didn't really generate any pass rush. They went heavy in the middle. They had Phillips, Butler up, who have been active for 2 straight weeks. They went with a more heavy line. Boogie and AJ were inactive, and they didn't have any pass rush. And you can't invest what you invest and have what you have and only get 2 pressures and no sacks for a team that gave up 20 sacks, right? And they lost their Pro Bowl left tackle because he decides to come diving in like an asshole at the end of a play, and he hits his head. I forget whose ass he hit it on and knocked himself unconscious. And the defense, I think they I approve attacking the corner who just comes in. I like the fact they just kept going after Jackson. He was clearly hobbled. They got him out of the game. And in totality, they're 4-2. They were 4-2 last year at the same point last year, just not at a bye. Our quarterback took us down there and gave us a chance to win, gave his team a chance to win. And that's all you can ask for. And it's not a common thing in this league to have a quarterback that consistently can do that. He didn't throw a brutal interception. He didn't shit his pants and take a bad sack. And the fact that he dives and gives up his body and clearly, for me, gets a first down, the refs on the field call it. The man in the cloud says no, and nobody will ever get to see who these people are. They get to hide in the weeds and bear no brunt of the criticism. And that's the point I tried to make with my tweet. And people would have jumped on me. The self-hating Bills fan will want to get on there and say, oh, his elbow's clearly down. I'm like, look, the network line and the official line are not, it's not consistent. That's the network line, and there's the official line. Look at the marker, look at the yard, ball in hand. He's right there. How many in the area first downs do you see in the middle of the field? All the time. It looks like it's right there. It's right there. It's a first down, clear as a bell. Clear as a bell. And yeah, you cannot get gashed in the run game to the tune of 4.2, 7.2. You can't do it. And you need it at some point to send. They really did not blitz Tannehill too much. He had an easy night, but he was not good. But in just terms of the game, sans the refs, the offense just 2 for 5 in the red zone. No bueno. You score 1 touchdown. You know what you're doing at the end of the game? You're just kneeling on the ball, running out time, and just kicking a chip shot for the W. That's what you're doing, making Tennessee use its timeouts. And please, guys, do yourselves a favor. We watch the games with our eyes. Dude, the media, I am firmly convinced, it's not Buffalo. It's just, You know what we have now? We have fanboys. I'm not a blue check. I'm not a media member. I'm not a national show. I don't have a radio show. But if you read the timelines of some of these people, they're fanboys. The idiot with the that's in dire need of a nose job that every Bills fan loathes on ESPN. I'm not going to say his name because you know who he is. Will get on there and stir Bills fans up, and Bills fans will bite every day long, twice again on Sunday. The guy's a fanboy, and you know who he's a fanboy of. And he's going to say and do everything that he can to get the bandwidth and traffic from the fan base knows that'll give it to him, and that's it. Don't give him any, pay him no mind. And the broadcast was atrocious. They called Josh Allen Ryan Tannehill like twice. I think they even called somebody. Was it Tirico? Who's on the broadcast? It was Tirico and Louis Riddick. I really missed the Manning crew because these guys were just were terrible. Yeah, they called it was like are they high? Yeah, thanks, Damager, because I was trying to remember who else they called, but I'm like the Bills are on offense. Like how that's you can sell shit, you know what you can do? It's just like anything in life. You can sell shit just as long as you package it nice and give it the nice, the right amount of promotion. It's like that's the NFL. It sells itself, and that's what you see every Sunday. The league knows it sells itself. It can bullshit its way through games with these horrible refs. Horrible refs. They were atrocious. The crew that did the KC Bills game was on the field for the Browns in Arizona yesterday, and it was another one, a flag fest. Just terrible. Like they make the game unwatchable. They really do. And yeah, like Henry was, he played a good game. He played a good game, but they're very it was a hold. Dude, it was a hold, Doug. Go watch it. Go watch the hold. Yeah, they went. I heard that one, and I just like that's an odd thing to say. And they would only show the Tennessee fans that were up in the front. But when you looked at the panoramic view, which they never did up close, you saw lots of red, white, and blue. I'm like, it looks like 45 Bills fans, 55 Tennessee fans, and everybody with boots on the ground. I mean, people that were there, they said I saw more Oilers jerseys than I saw Tennessee jerseys. I mean, Tennessee's a transient fan base. They care about the Volunteers and they care about NASCAR. They don't have a fan base. Yeah, the announcers, they're trash. Again, they're fanboys, and I don't know what they're fanboys. The Bills are a small market team. They pump a lot of traffic via the Bills. They don't pump a lot of national traffic. They don't. Us Bills fans, we live in our Bills box. We love them. We hit every ping that they put out. But in terms of, let's just say the Cowboys take a dump on a blade of grass somewhere, it's the lead. The Patriots, it's just they still have their buzz for some reason. Why? I don't know. Yeah, that was gross. The fact that they tried that really pissed me off, and I was just livid. The fact that they tried that, and I was really mad at the Bills, like, because Tennessee was clearly playing physical. They were playing physical, and I'm like, just match them mano a mano, play downhill, and I didn't mind not running the ball. I'm like, attack this team, throw at them. They're scared. They're scared to death of you throwing over the top. There was the last play. It was the drive before Tennessee got the ball and went down and scored. It ended in that crazy pass to Kumaro on the sideline. If you watch the replay, Gabe Davis running down the seam he's got 5 yards on his man. He is going to be running for fun. And I was just so like, oh, Allen, why didn't you throw that ball, dude? I'm like, oh, God, if any of you guys have NFL Game Pass and you see that, and then there was another one where Diggs was really, really open. I think Allen wanted something short. He rolled out to the right, and I'm like, oh, they showed it on the replay too. Yeah, man, they're one of my new hated teams. I just do not like them at all. Like ugly. They're the only thing grosser than them is their uniforms. It's just disgusting. It's Tannehill didn't do anything great. He got some passes off on third downs. That the 1 4th and 2. Again, the Bills just being crossed up, not being dialed in, just worrying about Henry way too much. Eventually, you just have to play your defense and say, you know what, we just got to treat him like another player in this instance and just play the down. If they hand it to him, we got to play him. If Tannehill throws it, we got to play it. We just can't over commit to this guy because he's not going to catch. He's going to just catch a bone out of the backfield, but he's no threat, to catch one over our linebackers or anything like that. He's a downhill runner who needs time to get going. That's why they kept running the stretch plays. All his plays up the middle were the ones where he got stuffed on. It was the stretch runs that were killing the Bills, where they were just dragging them out. Yeah, the one pass in particular, the one penalty on the Bills that really hurts, is that, again, I see it a million times in a game. They call a hold on the Bills that cost them a touchdown on Emmanuel Sanders. It was a little trick play run in by Dawson Knox, and then they call a penalty. Knox did not come back in the game. He was clearly hampered on the throw. Still got it to Allen. Being a former quarterback, he did that. Yeah, Vrabel is just he's a block coach. Like I just, they have to play that way in terms of them coming. I was frustrated because I needed the Bills to get up by 10. I'm like, get up by 10 and you can win this game, because then they cannot play this they have to play 4-minute offense. If they need to get into 2-minute and just step back and throw, they can't play, because then there's no Henry. You don't have to worry about it. You play Tannehill, and then he's not gonna, 9 times out of 10, he's not gonna take you down and win the game. He's just not gonna do it. Did he make plays in the game? Yes, but on the strength of the running back getting too much respect from the Bills, too much respect. Good players are gonna beat you. You got to accept it. It's no different than giving up 10 catches and 150 yards to a really, really good receiver and then shutting down the rest of the team. Does he get you on some plays? Yes. He got you on one big chunk play? Yes. Where he got the Bills was in the red zone, 3 rushing touchdowns. And you got to know that he was going to get the football in those instances, because they clearly weren't going to put the ball in Tannehill's hands. Their 2 wide receivers are playing just with their minds alone. Apparently, A.J. Brown had food poisoning, lost 8 pounds, was getting jacked up with IVs, but, he made some plays when he had to, so hats off to him. It was just tough. You got to score touchdowns in the red zone, and they need to work on that. They need to work on that in the bye week. After the guys go away, they need to self-scout. They need to work. It was nice to see Cole Beasley get going. Allen hit him deep. Beautiful on the broken play scramble to the right. Allen kills teams on, and Beasley lost his man. And I think it was Janoris Jenkins, and he easy touchdown. Beautiful play by Allen. I'll read some of the comments here because I see some people are commenting, and I'm just losing people here. Sorry guys if I'm ranting. I got to engage with you guys. Just really, really frustrating right now to have that and 2 weeks to sit on that shit, and Allen slips at the end. The league overrules the first down call by the refs on the field. That's just really, that's ticky-tack, man. That's ticky-tack. That's like the ump calling it a third, an out, and, he punches a guy out at home, and then because of a check swing, and then maybe they radio down from, wherever in baseball and say, no, he checked the swing. It's not, and then he hits a home run on the next play, or he ties or wins the game with a walk off. You know what I mean? It's like that. And the Bills had a prime chance to score if they would have gotten the first down. They were right there, and yeah, that's not good, man. That's not good, Steve. And that's why when they get to the 25-30, I want them to start taking shots at the end zone, because it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to score in there, but you have a big quarterback. They have the pieces to fix it. So I'm not worried. It's just, execution down there. The Dawson Knox touchdown, end around just gets negated by a hold. You don't finish on a drive, coming out of the half. You got to take that down. You got to punch it in. You got to send a message right off the rip. You know what? We're coming out for 60 minutes, full 60 minutes. But again, we don't have a lightweight here. Our team punched back every time they got punched, and where they were at the end of the game, it wasn't like they were at, their 30 trying to extend the game. You know what I mean? Just scratching and clawing. They're right there at the goal line after the quarterback makes some great throws, gives up his body on what should have been a first down leap again, on a third down play. It's just really annoying that the game has to come down to that, and there's plenty of plays in between that and, and the start of the game. So the Bills needed to do more. You score 31 points, you'd like to think your defense can hold there. And, giving up that last touchdown drive, it was just like, man. And I think McDermott knew it. That's why he went. He's like, look, my defense, they're not having their best day out there. I need to, leave my best unit right now is my offense. I need to leave them out there and let them go. And he did. He didn't play conservative. He didn't kick the field goal. Everybody criticized him in KC for the AFC Championship game, oh, he was kicking field goals when he should have been going for it. He got the 3 points, but he didn't get the 7. You never know until you try, right? But people say different situation. One's a chance to go to the Super Bowl, the other's in a regular season, which tells me in those situations, he's in the same situation again. If given the chance, he's going to go for it. If they find themselves in an AFC Championship game again, hopefully, knock on wood, they do, right? He's not going to kick the field goals down there. He's going for touchdowns. So that's encouraging. And they keep putting that stat up, dude. They just, but he didn't do it, but they keep putting it up. Yeah, I mean, it's just a really bad taste loss. They didn't get, dude, they're not a slapdick team. We're not talking about the Dick Duran, Chan Gailey, Rex Ryan Bills. We're not talking about that team. We're talking about a team with a legit quarterback. Our defense is good. It had a rough day at the office. Not everybody's going to run out that type of offense every week. So I'm not worried about that at all. Derrick Henry's a special player, but at the end of the day, to really win, you need the guy with the arm, with the killer instinct, with the ability to do it, and I think we have one. I think we have one of the very few in the league that can. Has he done it yet? No. But does he show the it? Yeah, he shows the it. He shows it. And again, don't give any. And I know I'm doing it, but I'm not going to say this D-bag's name, because they use tampon like this. is only saying things for clicks. Whether he believes in himself or not, it does not matter. He's just trying to get your goat, Bills fans. Don't, you guys in the chat room are way too smart. Don't bitch about this guy. His show is trash. Everything ESPN puts out, all it is 4 dudes in split screens going back and forth with counterpoints, pre-designed, predetermined, and they still fuck up. I mean, you got Stephen A. Smith, who's the highest paid voice, who is terrible. You know, you get Shannon Sharp, who's a Hall of Fame player, a Super Bowl champion. You're arguing with current players on Twitter. You know, you got blue checks who fanboy teams and fanboy players. It's like, are you objective media? Where's the objective media anymore? And then you get the antagonistic guys who are the local guys who will send out the snipey tweets to draw reaction from the local fans of the local team. And then you'll have your homer media. You know, you never really truly have neutrality. You don't have objectivity anymore in the press, whether it's local, national, or otherwise. You don't get it. You don't get it. It's you know, I see it. I see it on my timeline from people I follow and people I don't. You got fanboys. You know, they'll fanboy it up for this guy, and then when they have to eat crow, case in point, Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley, Staley, the head coach for the that's the former wide receiver. Is his name Brandon Staley? I'm not sure. The Chargers rookie head coach. He puts out a few, you know, totally off topic. He puts out a few, you know, they splice together some shit from a press conference, and the blue check media acted like this guy basically just deciphered the Da Vinci Code. And you know why I was like, oh my God, here we go again. Because they did the same shit with Sean McVay in his rookie year. They did the same thing. They got the anointing oil out, and oh my God, this guy isn't. And then he does this grandstanding thing about the John Gruden emails, and I'm like, look, it's very easy. And I liked McDermott's answer on that, and he used the same verbiage I did. You know, it's easy to get up here and grandstand after the fact, but you know what? To a man, we all know you dig far enough, deep enough, for long enough for any one of us, me, you, anybody in this chat, anybody in this world, you're gonna find something you don't like. Period. Over and fucking out. And I don't want to hear different. So it's really easy for some people to get up there, other than the NFL, or they're on Twitter and say, I would have no, motherfucker. You're probably the first. We've all said some dumb shit in our life and done dumb shit. But yeah, but they all acted like this guy. And then they got waxed. West Coast team coming east against a good football team in Baltimore, you know, who's, you know, with a coach who's been to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, established quarterback, who's a good player, hard to defend, unique, and they beat the shit out of him. You know, Justin Herbert, who they've all anointed as the new greatest quarterback, and he's a really, really good player, but he's in his second year. He had a rough game on the road. That's what it is. That's what happens. It happens in the NFL. Sometimes good football teams lose close, tough games. I remember the Patriots lost a tough game in Carolina. Brady and Gronk were losing their fucking minds at the end of the game after a no call in the end zone. They thought it was a pass interference. I think the defender might have been Roman Harper or Kurt Coleman. And oh my God, it was like good teams lose games sometimes. Really, really good teams. And I'm going to read some of the comments, guys. I don't want to say it was a fluke. You get gashed and you overplay Henry for 2 straight quarters. And at some point, you got to know Tannehill will, if you pressure him and make him, because if you notice what he does is he backs straight up and then he just throws the ball. Make him do it in the middle of the field. I mean, the intercept, it was really disappointing that they didn't get anything off the Poyer interception, because it was a beautiful read by him. And it was a bait job and it was beautiful. And I'm like, fuck. if they could have got something, if they could have got 7 off of that, it would have been delicious. It really, really would have been. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen, man. Let me read some of the comments here. Yeah, they make their money off clicks, and and that dirtbag was picked last, and never his whole. Well, he was not. I mean, a person like this is just, he is who he. I mean, I don't know what his claim to fame is. I'm like, why is he on TV? Why is he on one of the, apparently one of the big shows, with guys that are in the NFL? And then you see, I see clips that people put up on Twitter, and it's like, yeah, he's talking to like established 10-year, 15-year vets that have either been to Pro Bowls, Hall of Fame, or maybe they didn't, but they played in the league. And he's talking all this junk, and they have to sit there and ingest it. And they're just like, you could just see on their faces, like, this fucking guy just doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And you know what? It must be, I don't know, you kind of sell your soul a little bit for a paycheck there, in my opinion. You got to lick a little ass to get the check. And I'm just like, you know what? At some point, somebody's integrity's got to kick in and just say, dude, you do not know what you're talking about. Seriously, you really don't. You've never been between the white lines. Granted, none of us have here, but I've been in the squared circle before, and I know what having a skilled up person across from you feels like that can whip your ass. And it's, you really got to pull your nuts up and bite down on your mouthpiece and just go, because if you fight scared backing up, you're gonna get chipped the fuck up. Let me read some of the comments, guys. Thank you for being in late. Off a fucking terrible game like that. Terrible game. It's just a terrible way to go into a bye week, especially you're down there with a chance to win, and the league, you get a first down or you don't. You stick with the call on the field. Your people call it a first down. Then you really put into question the integrity of what you do and what you don't do. Do these guys administrate the game, or how many layers are there? They don't say. It's like you see the zebras and that's it. And then the head of officiating puts out this bullshit tweet. It's like, please, you guys are pathetic. Like nobody, you have no credibility with anybody. But Staley got exposed. Isn't he a defensive coordinator? At age 30, trash him. I'm not a Gruden fan, but yeah, that's who they are, though. That's who they are. That's who this league is. I'm sure he got what he got for calling Goodell, that scumbag, what he really is. That's why he got where he got. Yeah, 3 holding penalties, one that took away 2 touchdowns, man. You take 2 touchdowns off the board with holding penalties. And I'm not saying the Sanders one isn't legit, but if you're going to call that a hold, then you got to call the Poyer mug job on the Henry run, the 76-yarder, a hold too, because when Hyde is coming downhill, the hold happens. Hyde is coming to Phil, and he drags him into Hyde. Hyde did not take a great angle. Like, he didn't anticipate getting Poyer thrown into him. He probably thought he was going to be able to disengage, but he wasn't, because he was being held. And then Henry slipped through. And Rousseau, being a rookie, didn't play that correctly. He came upfield he got sucked in coming up the field too deep. And then Henry cut it back, and he got burned. He got burned by a good player. Yeah, man. A side note, I was looking at some old Bills games the other day from the 90s. It seems like we lost a lot. I mean, you lose close games. Good teams lose games sometimes. I remember, again, Patriots are always on TV in recent memory. So there was a game where it was Colin Kaepernick quarterbacking the Patriots, the 49ers. They got up big in New England. Patriots came back, made it close, but they ended up, 49ers hold on and won. But my point is, It's who's in it for the long haul and who can stay with it the longest, who can show the most, mental fortitude, testicular fortitude when it matters. And I think our team's battle tested. I think they can make whatever requisite adjustments they need to during this 2 weeks. I just hope, knock on wood, Knox is healthy, because he's an emerging player, man. And they're trying to make him an important part of this offense. And if you lose him, it really, really sucks. It really, really sucks. I don't know the rationale, Ben, but I have to, because I think he can play inside and out, and Tennessee's going to play big. That's why you had Butler and Phillips active, and I can't question what they do, because they pushed a lot of the right buttons. They pushed a lot of the right buttons so far, so I can't. They had their reasons for doing what they did. So they had their reasons. I'm going to respect their reasons, and and just go from there. So that's my take on it, Steve. Yeah, it's just a shitty way to lose, because I feel like again, here I am. Tennessee played well, but the Bills beat themselves. The Bills beat themselves. You don't finish in the red zone. Clear hold. I'm not going to take that. Clear hold by Andre Smith on the kick return. You got to know and it happens every time. I don't know if it was a kick return or a punt return. I don't know which, but McKenzie had another good return early in the game, and sure enough, here came the flag. I forget who it was on, but here came the flag. And I was like, and I knew it. I'm like, halfway through the return, when he's running, I'm like, they're gonna throw a flag. Even on the kick return, this is how bad it is. It's like you're looking for the flag before you can even celebrate the play. You're just like, okay, where's the flag? On the special teams, it's either going to be a block in the back, a hold, something. It's always going to be something. It's like they have a quota of penalties, and they love to fill them on special teams, especially when there's a big return. It's like, nope, can't have that. Oop, there was a hold. There's a hold instantly, and I'm like, I don't know who said it, but it's like you can call a hold on every play. Somebody said it might have been Parcells or one of the like hot, I don't know which coach it was, but it was like one of the famous 80s coaches. Like you could literally call a hold on every play. And that was unfortunate. You heard Daboll lost his grandfather, probably so beside himself. He lost, his lifetime, he lost his grandmother, this guy, his wife. And then, he just kind of, old people tend to just kind of let go. And it's a really sad situation. And the Bills offensively played, they played hard. They played great for them. They put up 31 points. You put up 31 points, and you're trying to fight for your defense and your special teams. The special teams, Bass makes all his kicks. Hawk kicked well. They covered pretty well. You just don't finish in the red zone 2 for 5, and a couple of penalties, and you're getting 3 points instead of 6 and 7, and one, just you don't score on the last play because you're trying to score, but that's a touchdown, and then your defense goes back on the field, but you take the touchdown. You make them have to go the length of field again. So it's tough, man. But the Bills, they beat themselves here. I can't, there's too much in totality there, but that last down play where it's the biggest play of the game, because, your third, the biggest play was obviously the 4th down, but you never get to that 4th down if the refs just, like, it's the 1st down. Go again. Vicious 155 on Twitter. He's right there with the ball. It's parallel. That line is the network's line. That's not the league's line. That's not the league's marker. That's the network's marker. The league's marker is on the field. The yard marker. Any part of the ball goes near there, it's 1st down. And I see it happen all the time in the field of play where in the area first downs happen. You think, man, is he short of that? And then they've signaled first down, let's go. But on that play, for some reason, they signal first down, and then the league upstairs calls it and says no go. Makes me sick. Really does make me sick. They're very defensive line tackle heavy. I just think it's the style of offense they played. I would say a corner. I would say a corner for depth. I wouldn't say a starting position, but a depth corner, I would definitely say. Yeah, they were trying to make them return, Doug. I saw that right away. They were really making him. They were trying to force some errors on special teams because they were making him return. If that was Tannehill, it would have been a first down because of the hometown call, or you feel like Tannehill's more capable, or I don't know, man. It's Harry. He made a couple of good run stops. Starr made a good run stop early, but I felt Edmonds had a good game. I felt like Milano did not have a good game. I felt like he was playing too aggressive downhill. He didn't stay home enough in the second half when I'm like, look, they're trying to bait you with Henry. They're using Henry as bait. A lot of eye candy with Henry 7 yards deep. It's like they're gonna run. I'm like, nope. Here comes the pass. It's like it's gonna be that's why the middle of the field was open, because the linebackers were they're playing 3 to 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage instead of 8 to 12 proper depth, and those plays never happen. You noticed it. Like there was one where it was even Trey was down there trying to overplay the run, and he had just had his hand out. It was at it was an AJ Brown crosser, and he took it for like 15. They ended up scoring on that play too. I don't think Singletary. He ran hard tonight. He played well, like especially early on. Ford's a possibility, but he's a good player, offensive line depth. He's somebody they drafted in the second round. Granted, he got benched, but he plays guard. He can play tackle in a pinch if you have a pinch, but when you're in it for the long haul, you're bringing guys in. You're trading. If the Bills are making trades, you're seeing, like, look at Zach Ertz. He gets traded for a 2023 6th or 5th or whatever, like a nothing. Like, you're making trades of that ilk. You're not making trades for guys on your team. And if you're going to release guys or put guys on the practice squad, it's going to be guys like Andre Smith or one of the defensive linemen that you feel like you can move, or maybe you can trade, because you got to open up a roster spot. And the places that they're heavy is defensive line, linebacker, because they carry 6, but 4-3 teams generally carry 5. 6 is a little much, 7 is a lot, but every team does their personnel different. Read some of the comments, guys. Doug, yep, Poyer was down in the down play, just missed a tip. Yeah. Let's say they were out coached. I would say I feel like the defense just didn't. I don't think they just played well enough. I don't want to say they were out coached. I think they just didn't play the defenses that were called well enough. I'll just say that, because there was runs where they got blown out. Like a couple of the red zone touchdown runs, they got blown out of their gaps pretty bad. So that's just physicality, man on man, and guys just on Tennessee's side playing more physical. So I gotta give them that. The long run changed this game. Well, there was the return hold that would have put the Bills up late. Granted, still had a lot of time left. Bills had all their timeouts. I also would say that you still, like, that run happens. There's still a lot of football to be played. There's still a lot of football. There's still a lot of downs in played offensively, defensively, and a hold that takes a touchdown off the board by Emmanuel Sanders. That's kind of like give or take it or leave it. So just not you 2 for 5 in the red zone. You got to score touchdowns. That possession in late in the game counts. So that's one of the 5. Before that, they were just at 2 for 4, and those 2 possessions early in the game, they don't finish. You got to finish, man. You got to finish. You got to be able to put on that really hurts a team. You put an opposing offense in their home building. You stress them out because they're like, we got to go put a drive together. And for whatever it's worth, when the Bills had to put a drive together offensively this game, they did. At the end, did they not put a drive together to go pretty much all but win it? Yes. Did they finish it? No. But no, it happens, man. It happens. Kicking field goals kills you. You score 7 early. That just, and they need to clean that up, man. They really need to clean that up. Thanks for the 11 guys that are in here. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, because then it's late. You come off a game like that, you don't want to it just makes you sick. You just want to vomit all over yourself. I don't know, man. It's tough because I think it's I forget which number is being held, but McKenzie's so fast, that guy has to really take a proper angle. But either way, the drive is starting at your 40. And if he doesn't take the most perfect angle, McKenzie's fast as hell. He's going to go. He's gone. So, I just think you got to bop and let a guy go at some point, because that they're looking to throw these flags, because the flag was thrown from the side judge all the way across, and the hold did happen. I'm not going to lie, but it was a pretty far away to call that, but he called it. It was right. Yeah. Again, silver lining, John. And they didn't lose again, and they know how to bounce back from losses. They bounced back off the opener and played and won 4 straight. They bounced back off of a lot of tough situations like last year. There was another game in particular where they lost. This situation where you lose in Tennessee off of the whole COVID fiasco. They had to go play KC at home, and that was a stinker. The offense didn't look right. But in this game where your quarterback balls out and takes you down there with a chance to win, and some crazy shit goes down, it's like, at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to throw your hands up and say, what more could you fucking do? I mean, you could have done more earlier, but you're right there, No, but the way he went in, Damager, and tried to hurt somebody else and hurt himself, because he just Superman dives onto a pile and hits his head or the side of his head on one of his linemen's ass, and then he knocked himself out. Like, that's exactly what he did. They showed the replay, and he just comes in to try to and he probably was intending to hit a Bill, but he hits his own lineman's ass and just cold-cocks himself. I give him respect, because he got burned by, I believe it was the Cardinals opening game, and they got waxed, and he said, I played like trash. I was terrible. Chandler Jones, whipped my ass, and he went on Twitter and owned it. And I respect players like that. I think it's rare. Most players get defensive and they'll bicker, but that kid, he owned his play, and he said he killed me. So I respect it. It's just the kind of loss, man. It's just like, you want to win this game, dude. You don't want to sit on this L because then you start to stress. It's like, damn, they can't slip up again. Who do we come out of the bye against? Miami at home? They're up against it. I mean, you got to go whip their ass now at home. You got to whip their ass. You got to throw it. You got to throw a 40 burger on them. They're in a bad spot. They're 1-5. You got to kill a team like that. Tonight, I felt like you had a 3-2 team, And I felt like they were there to be, you bury that team. You make them 3-3. And they're a good team. Tennessee is a good team. And you just don't do it. It just really sucks. It sucks that they couldn't finish that. Yeah, I saw that. It's terrible. This league is what it's doing to itself. It has no credibility, but it's really like but the fact is that these things happen and nobody owns them. It's just like, again, it's just like, what are we doing? Like, you're not playing football. You're playing, I don't know what the hell you're playing. Some fugazi, half-assed, version of it. This is what happens when you have people in the league that are lawyers and marketing people calling shots, because this is what they're doing. This is who makes the decisions. Lawyers, marketing execs, and fucking nepotism hires. That's who makes the positions and makes the calls. And this is what you get. They legislate jocks. Like, we call the shots. Okay, you kill your product. Go ahead. The refs are shit. They're just terrible. They make the game like it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Okay, he was short. You know what? There's like 12 other plays you fucked up. Long for the Tennessee Titans, like, quarterback safety. We want to protect the quarterback. Okay, your zebras are blowing their whistles. Blows the play dead. This fucking guy launches at Josh Allen's head while he's being held up. How is he not ejected? He clearly hit the quarterback in the head after the play was blown dead. So he comes in and just spears Allen in the head, and he's still on the field. Just gets a personal foul penalty. Okay. What is that? And the way the commentators talked about it, he did hit him in the head, blah, blah, blah. And it was like last week. It was like listening to Collinsworth, if you want to call his commentary anything other than, it's horrific. The guy's a snake oil salesman, an average wide receiver that played in the NFL who lives off, just his people like him. The right people like him. He's a company man. Company men in every walk of life. The snakes, the backstabbers, they always make it in life. And somebody like him who's pushing his Pro Football Focus, which he owns, they use their statistics, their analytics, teams employ them, agents work with them, so they push their players, their mouthpieces like Palazzolo and Monson push the guys that the agents that they use their analytics to get their people jobs. It's all friends and family. One hand washes the other circle jerk. That's all it is. Never make any mistake about it. No. Were the refs better in the 90s? Shit. They didn't have replay, right? They took replay out. There was a lot of older men. And at the end of the day, if they threw a flag, they went there and you saw the replay. You didn't see HD, 4K, super slow-mo zoom. You didn't see that. It was in standard definition, but you saw a replay and they went with the call in the field. Were there bad calls here and there? But nothing like this. This is like Jesus Christ. It's every game though. Every game you're getting a boondoggle that is just like the biggest head scratcher. Whether it impacts the game long term, short term, it's still, you're looking at it and I'm like, yeah, like for example, like somebody brought up the Kyler Murray roughing the passer yesterday. I don't know. I think it was Malik McDonald. He just literally puts his hands up and bumps into Kyler Murray, like gives him a chest bump. Murray doesn't even fall down, and flag, roughing the passer. I'm like, dude, make him wear pink and put a flag on him. Come on, man. What are you doing? And yeah, you throw a flag and they're on the headsets. They're all wearing headsets. Every last one of them. Who are they talking to? They're not talking to the dude. They're all standing there in a huddle. So they need headsets to stand there and talk. No, they're all listening to somebody tell them something, or multiple people talk to them at once in concert, and they're conversing back with them. So they're not officiating the game. When I put that tweet out, I had a few, self-hating Bills fans come back at me like, oh, he's clearly down. He's clearly down. That's not the point. The integrity of the game is the point. The people on the field who you assigned to ref the game, you gave them the responsibility, right? You say you didn't want a sky judge during your NFL owners meetings. You said no, right? You said no. But apparently you have a sky judge who nobody knows. Nobody knows him. Nobody knows who these people are. They can just talk to these referees and get them to do whatever they want in game, and that's the end of it. So how is that right? How is that how does that taste good? How does that taste to you? That tastes good? How do you make your product credible? If you say you don't have something, you said your competition committee said no to it, but apparently you still have it, and you basically reveal that you have it on your broadcasts. But then out of the other side of your mouth say, we don't have it. The NFL just pulls shit out of its ass. They just make up shit. They make shit up on the fly. They really do. The league makes shit up on the fly. They truly do. They really do. It's insane. And I'm just talking. I'm really upset because the team lost and they didn't help themselves win a game. I feel like they beat themselves. Tennessee gets credit though. They won the game, and they made the plays they needed to win the game. And again, I feel like if the Bills just do a couple of different things in terms of not get, a couple of holds, get a couple of, fill a couple of gaps on some runs, they win the game. But that didn't happen. You've been bought. It's possible, man. Again, people, I laugh at people. They're so naive, willingly naive. I'm like, Tim Donaghy, you think that guy was the only one? Like, do you think there was one Tim Donaghy? If you think in the four major sports, hockey is really, hockey's almost impossible to fix. I'm not saying you can't, but if you buy a player, they're never going to do it because they would destroy themselves and end up in prison. But these refs are easily bought. They're easily bought. And you don't have to buy them. They use their friends. They use people they know. They use backdoor channels. I mean, why do you think big fights are held in Vegas? What do fighters do? They send 20 different people they know to all the different sports books to place bets on themselves or on the other guy. It's like, look, I'm going to go in there. I'm not really supposed to win, but I'm going to fucking go toe to toe and I'm going to try to win. So, or, oh, this guy has a broken hand. We all know it. They're not talking about it, but he's not going to be able to throw, blah, 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 blah. We're going to be able to do this. Oh, he broke his rib in training. He's still got to go out there and try to make this money. We're going to be able to, dude, trust me. A lot of this shit is dirty as hell. Dirty as hell. And the league pushes gambling now. They're fully in. They're fully in. We got what's that big gambling app? What's the gambling app? I forget. There's so many of them now where you can I don't gamble, so I don't know. I don't bet on games. But they have a big thing. I don't know if it's DraftKings or oh God, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. But they have one right here behind MetLife. Like literally, if you go behind MetLife, they have like a big thing because New Jersey was the first one to legalize the NFL gambling, and then everybody else fell into line. I just forget which one it was. It wasn't Caesars. No, it's one of these apps. It was started out as an app. Oh God. But yeah, it's literally right behind an NFL. FanDuel. There it is, Damager. Thank you. They have a big FanDuel complex right behind MetLife. It's right in. There's a racetrack right there, and you can bet on anything, anything. I've seen friends go there, right? I've seen friends go there. Like I know my one friend won a decent amount of money, but I knew a kid from the gym. Literally, he worked there. He's not there anymore. He hadn't been there since the pandemic, I think. Maybe he might have been there after, but he ended up leaving. But that kid was so like last time I spoke to him, he was like I saw him all fucked up looking one day, like not beat up, but he just looked. I was like, dude, you all right? He's like, man, I fucked up. I fucked up. I'm like, what happened? He's like, man, I, like literally, he was like, he lost like he was $12,000 in the hole from gambling. And I don't know about you guys, like he was like a 21-year-old kid, and he just made a stupid mistake. And maybe he borrowed money, and he was just like dude, don't bet on this shit, man. Don't bet on this shit. But the reason I made the analogy early in the video about prize fighting and boxing and MMA, it's to the point now where you tell your team, do not leave this game in the hands of the officials in any way, shape, or form. Do not do it. The first time I ever stepped foot in PAL, Police Athletic League, to get my hands wrapped, they didn't let me in the ring for like the first 3 months. They just made me jump rope and hit the bag and hold the bag while other people hit it and clean up the mat in the ring. That's what I did. And give water to the guys that would like the real fighters that would come in. They would tell us, they would be like, don't let the judges decide your fate. Don't let them decide your fate. Don't let them decide your fate. Don't let them decide your fate. Never do it. Never do it. I was told that from the time I was 6 years old. So you can't leave it in these zebras' hands. Something's gonna happen. Legit hold on the McKenzie return. Legit hold. Maybe a little ticky. The hold on Sanders, similar to the one that Dawkins got called on last week for the Moss run. It wasn't a touchdown, but he was down at the 8 going in. It would have been first and goal. They had to settle for a field goal. Similar type of situation. Yeah, I mean, a hold, okay, but then you gotta call the hold on the Henry run. But it's just like the NFL wants to feature its stars. I feel like our quarterback put on a tremendous performance tonight, drove his team down there, and I don't hear the love for Josh Allen. Maybe it's just me being a Bills fan, being a homer, being biased. But when you listen to these guys commentate the Bills games and talk about the Bills, you do not hear the glee or the like, damn, this guy's one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. It's a lot. It's hard driving your football team down there. And, man, he's making a play, he's diving over people or into people. He doesn't care. It's just like when he does things, it's like, oh, he's going to get hurt. He's going to do this. No, it's like you hear, but again, I'll say it. I know I use this example a lot. Mahomes yesterday throws one of the stupidest interceptions you ever want to see. Just so bad. So bad. He makes a few nice throws, and it's circle jerk time. Never a doubt. He would come back and do it. Okay, great. He did. Great player. Matthew Stafford had a no-look touchdown pass yesterday. I think it might have been to Cooper Kupp. Or I think it was to Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods, either one of the two. I know it was to one of those two because they destroyed the Giants yesterday. Didn't hear a word about it. I didn't even see it on any of the cool replays. It was literally like touchdown. Yeah, they like Allen, but they have that's a sucky job. You got to travel a lot. You got to suck the network's ass. You got to hit their talking points because that's what they do. You got to know something about a lot of TV is only the big names have creative control. They only control what they talk about. Very few people in the media have creative control. They're like, hit these talking points. Write about these talking points. These are your targets. Hit them. Hit them. Otherwise, somebody else will hit them for us, and they'll do anything and everything to hit them. So they're on autopilot. They know exactly what they have to do, and they're not going to move off of it. You know, some of them are allowed to have their sticks. Bad cop, good cop. It's an act, and that's why I don't buy it. It's like these people are play actors. They're bad actors. It's like they're not objective journalists. Like you don't get any of that. That doesn't exist anymore. Objective journalism, neutrality, just reporting on what you see, and being objective about it. Like Brandon Staley. I banged on about his press conferences because the media reacted to him. He can't control how the media reacts to him, right? Totally fine. Do I agree with his comments about John Gruden? No. Grandstanding, sucking your own cock. You've made tons of mistakes before in the past, dude. He's like I don't know how old he is. He's like 34-year-old head coach, whatever. Dude, I got 10 years on that guy. That motherfucker's fucked up in his life. He's done some dumb shit. Just nobody knows about it. Nobody gave a fuck when he did it. You got to remember this. Nobody talks about this, right? I don't know. It just went away. Some asshole out there, whether it was an agent in another team, somebody, they tried to get our eventual franchise quarterback canceled on draft night for tweets. From the time he was 14 years old. And he had to go answer in a press conference as a 22, about to be 23 years old, about some shit he did almost a decade ago as a 14-year-old. Remember all of us at 14, the stupid shit we said and did. They tried to eviscerate that kid. I mean, I remember Jerry Sullivan and a few other people, like they had to answer like 10 questions about tweets from a 14-year-old kid. And meanwhile, you know, you had Laramie Tunsil like hitting a bong off of a gas mask, you know, doing dumb shit, even as a 21-year-old. Is that the person he is? No, he's just a dumb kid doing dumb stuff, thinking that won't come back to bite him. But the world we live in is like, I'm going to try to hurt you. And if I go viral with something at the right time, it can. And that's terrible. That's terrible. But I was going to say, if I missed this, I was talking about Collinsworth. Go listen to the way last week he talked about the Josh Allen roughing the passer compared to the way he talked about the Pat Mahomes roughing the passer. That was bullshit on Ed Oliver. Basically, Oliver just wraps his legs up. Nothing malicious. He doesn't twist. And then meanwhile, you got, I forget the linebacker, just twisting and yanking. I think it was Bolton. He's like, they're going to twist and yank at Allen's ankle. They're going to make him pay for running that ball. You want to run your quarterback? We're going to do that. And then when they get the roughing the passer call at the last drive to score the touchdown, it's like, oh, that might be roughing the passer. I don't know. Are they going to get, it's like he's wishy-washy. He doesn't want to fully commit to saying it was, you know, just, they're sickening. It's like so transparent. It's pathetic. Nothing objective. Let me read some of your comments, guys. You guys are awesome. Stephen A. Smith kicked Kellerman off his show. Probably did. Probably didn't like him. I know Kellerman was leaving. I always think Kellerman's a boxing guy. He's never been an all-on sports guy. He writes a lot of his own stuff. Maybe they're not giving him the creative control that he likes, and they're not paying him the money. He probably feels like he's Stephen A. Stephen A. is just ill-prepared. And he's just ill-prepared. These guys have tons of interns. There's no reason for him to make the on-air mistakes he makes. And he just still, like, he makes $10 million a year. Think about that. That guy was an NBA writer for a Philadelphia paper, you know, decades ago. But he's a sacred cow. You know, Tony Kornheiser and the other guy were sacred cows for a long time. And they had a good objective show. They would sit there and talk, and wasn't particularly fans of theirs, but they could sit there and talk and have a conversation, maybe disagree or agree to disagree. But they were, you know, it was a nice fluid sports talk. This is just, you know, it's hot take bullshit. For FS1 is just trash. Undisputed is the worst. All Skip and Shannon talk about is LeBron James, Dallas Cowboys, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, it's fanboy shit. I think it's Shannon fanboying LeBron. I don't know. I don't know if Skip Bayless is a Dallas Cowboy fan or not. He fanboys them, kisses their ass. Buffalo's a small town team. Allen wasn't one of those popular quarterbacks coming out of college. Came from out. Yeah, well, yeah, he was. It's not easy to promote a quarterback that looks like him nowadays. Has an amazing game, but doesn't have the right aesthetic. Just doesn't have the right aesthetic. It's just we're tired of that. It's like he's, lack of a better term, he's not melanated enough. Let's call a spade a spade. I'm going to say it. I'm not going to be PC here. I'll be honest with you. He's not melanated enough. He doesn't have the right complexion for the connection. And that's not the other quarterback's fault either. Lamar Jackson's an amazing quarterback. Kyler Murray's an amazing quarterback. Like, they're great players. I just think that if you're a journalist, national, local, or otherwise, be objective, be honest. When they play great, play great. When they play like shit, say they play like shit. But don't clearly have a bias or set against a player. It's clear that these people do. They have their favorites and they have the people that are just like, whatever about. Allen is whatever about. Oh, he made a nice play. Wow, great. Okay. Seems to always be getting, Kellen seems to be, I don't know the shows he's been on. What's up, Neil? How you doing, man? Yeah, they still remember those Allen tweets. He'll never get credit for the play because of that. That they have their talking points. They've got to push them, and they're going to push them. Hence you got to ask every question about it. I guarantee your guys are going away for the bye. You want to make sure nobody gets a positive, and you have a situation. It's like Cole Beasley was going to ruin our season, right? Has he missed a game? Has he caused anybody miss a game? Nope. That's what the media does. They're there. They're doing somebody else's bidding, man. They're marionettes. They're marionettes. Just please keep giving me that check, and I'll say and write whatever the you want. No. Again, what I see is snippets people retweet on Twitter. I will never seek any of them out. The retweets, the things that I see is things that people put, and I will admittedly click on it, but I'll never seek it out. Look what Gruden said was ugly, but the same thing. At the same time, the fix was in. Yeah, if again, what the NFL wanted, what the NFL wanted was it's Donald Sterling. And I know I'm going way off the Bills game. The NFL wanted it's Donald Sterling, where, somebody put him in a position to start recording stuff that they knew could be very inflammatory, and they leaked it. They put it out there to the right people. He was a very unpopular person that did not have a lot of friends, not a good owner, a very easily disposed of person, and that they can put themselves on a pedestal and grandstand about how progressive and how forward thinking and how intolerant of that type of behavior they would be. Like, wow. If anybody couldn't see through that, I feel real bad for you, because none of this stuff, if it had any legs or for people that they liked, would ever see the light of day. I'll make an example for you. Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, not very well liked in league circles. They don't have a lot of friends. They have friends, but not the right friends. You know what I mean? Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they have the right friends. They're in like Flynn. Daddy was a coach, won Super Bowls. Sonny Boy went to a Super Bowl, didn't win, but coordinated and won, didn't win. Point is, Bears get destroyed for passing on Mahomes, Watson, right? Last week was important. Why? That was the quarterback the Bills ended up taking. Allen played him, finally beat him, lost to him the first couple of times, right? Finally got that monkey off his back. I can beat you. We picked a good guy too. You're not invincible, right? Very important. The 49ers, Lynch, Shanahan, never get called the carpet for not picking Watson, who is now in a lot of trouble, who they don't conveniently talk about for obvious reasons. And Mahomes didn't take him. Who did they take? They took a guy who is now a second to third string converted defensive end to defensive tackle, Solomon Thomas, who has like 6 career sacks. They took him. And they traded back. They had their pick. That's who they took. They rolled into the season with Brian Hoyer. They ended up making the trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. So fast forward, what, 4 seasons later? 5 seasons later? 5 seasons later, 5.25 seasons later, they have to make a magnanimous trade, right, for Trey Lance. They gave up, what, 3 first-rounders for him? They could have just sat right there after they traded back and had taken Mahomes. And they ended up losing a Super Bowl against Mahomes. They passed him by. That never got mentioned, ever, not once. They never, ever. The Bills, you traded the Mahomes pick. Yeah, they did. You traded it, but you know what? We can say, yep, our guy ended up beating Mahomes. Our guy did it. Yep, took Mahomes, played against Mahomes in an AFC Championship game. See, we got a good guy. The Bears they don't have the right friends. McCaskey's, sorry, she's an old lady. She's not cool. Hell, I remember when the good old boys ran Marge Schott out of the league. Needed to get the Rams out of her hands. You know how much they hated handing that hag a Super Bowl trophy, a Lombardi? Do you know how much they hated that? And they want to get up there and talk the shit that they talk about equality. They're the biggest group of frauds you'd ever want to meet. They're the biggest scumbags on God's green earth. Like the biggest hypocrites. The parties that these people have, oh my God. The disclosure agreements that they've had signed, the non-disclosure agreements, you'd be shocked. Let me read some of the comments here. The Redskins, right? You know what's funny? For almost a century, nobody had a problem with the Redskins. A few incidences happen that have nothing to do with football, and all of a sudden the Redskins becomes PC. How come the Chiefs haven't been asked to change their name? The Braves, the Seminoles, they still do the tomahawk chop. Nobody gives a shit. But the Redskins, oh my God, oh Jesus Christ, can't listen, I can't hear it, can't even say it. Gotta say the Washington football team. Redskins, sorry, they're the Redskins. Do I listen to it? Yeah, I think I said that. I've heard him though. He doesn't like Baker Mayfield. I know that. I know he doesn't like Baker Mayfield. I like Howard. I think he has some good takes. Sometimes he gets a little too carried away. Josh deserved better tonight. Defense was ass. Yeah, Al, he was, just defense didn't have its best day, man. Had its worst game of the year. There was some mistakes in there, man. That's tough. It's big of you to say that because you're a Tyrod guy. I know you. I'm glad he deleted his Twitter account though. Hell with Twitter fools. I don't know who deleted it, Damager. Let's not overreact. No, it's dude, it's not overreacting, Go Bills. It's just you don't want to go into a bye week like, man, it's an L. You don't want to take an L like that. It's just like you look at the 2 games this team has lost, and those were wins, man. Those are wins, and we're talking about 3 plays difference, and boom, 6-0. It's just that's the shit that I hate, man. That's the shit that I hate. It drives me nuts, man. It really does. Yep. Who said that? The comedian. The comedian said that. He's dead now. Great, amazing. It's one big club, and you ain't in it. You ain't in the big club. I know exactly who it is. When one of you guys put his name in there, I'm gonna say George Carlin. I remembered it. George Carlin. Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I hope he's good. They've never had a great quarterback. Let me see. What's the real story? They probably found a whole bunch of shit they didn't want to find, and they needed a sacrificial lamb, and he was the easy one. He was the big bad guy that they could roll out there and say, you know what? He's got a big name. He's a big name. Bruce Allen is like if you kill Bruce Allen, who's just an old guy who's out of the league, whose father was a great GM with the Redskins back in the day. It's like it has no buzz. People don't like him anyway. Gruden is a big name, Super Bowl winning coach, been in the league for a while, was on TV forever, UB school, all that stuff. You can put him up there like, we'll fucking kill this guy. Imagine what we'll do to you. That's what they do. It's like, here, look at this guy. Look at the big head we've just put on the pike. Anybody's head can go on that pike, but only the ones that they, like, oh, we can sacrifice him. But all these other guys, shit, they don't want that out there. No way. I will guarantee nobody will send emails again anymore. Nobody will send emails again anymore. I wonder how many people are going back for their inboxes there. So is there an NFC team that you want to still? I don't care which one they play, dude. I don't care, Johnny. I don't care. Bring on any one of them. Because at the end of the day, it's, again, prize fighting. Styles make fights. The Titans present a certain style. And I don't think the Bills gave themselves the best chance defensively to play that style. And I felt offensively, their run game wasn't really working, which really still infuriates me. They weren't able to play they didn't really even, I felt like you just needed to attack this team. They were down so many corners. They lost corners in the game. Just turn your quarterback loose. Turn your quarterback loose on them. They did. I mean, he threw over 45 passes. So, I mean, what more can I say? Yeah, the flag was legit, though. Go Bills. I can't say it wasn't. It was a legit flag. It was a legit flag. But the fourth down call where you get the people call it on the field, that it was a first, and then it was ruled short, I have a problem with that. Because who's making the call? It's like the Bills in the playoffs against the Texans. This guy just throws the ball, doesn't give himself up. Bills recover it for a touchdown. It's like, let's have some common sense here. I'm like, guys make dumb mistakes on the football field all the time. They don't get to say, well, common sense says I didn't mean to do that shit. Well, of course he didn't mean to do it. He had a brain fart. It's a brain fart. Oh, Belichick's emails. That guy probably knows all the. That's why he hates the league so much. Why do you think Belichick doesn't belong to the Coaches Association? Because he knows that they're all like, he hates the league. The league hates him. He's got the Super Bowls he got. They hate handing him the trophy because of the scandals and stuff, because he embarrassed them. Well, you let him embarrass you. You kicked all the guys off NFL Network that would ever say anything about it, like Marshall Faulk. You had them embroiled in a bullshit fake sex scandal with Heath Evans and all those people you kicked off. And they're the only people that would ever call the league to carpet for it, like Marshall Faulk and stuff like that. That's like Hall of Fame running back. And it's not like a Darren Sharper situation. Jesus Christ, serial rapist. The league had him on their air. That's the NFL. The Giants still roll out Lawrence Taylor in a gold jacket and celebrate him like he is the returning of Christ. And boy, was that man the biggest piece of shit on God's too, and just still a scumbag. Nastiest motherfucker you'd ever want to meet. A nasty person. Absolutely disgusting. Oh, absolutely, Neil. I agree with it. I agree with it. Allen, it was a perfect storm of fuck. Allen slipped a little bit. The offensive line got zero push. Watch the aerial view, which they give you, replay. Feliciano just got blown out of his gap. I mean, blown out. Stood up and he's knocked back. Like he literally knocked right back into Allen. It was just like, I don't know if Allen slipping was a result of him slipping or Feliciano hitting him and making him slip. Oh, God. Yep. Well, he got that before he got on a private to go to the AFC Championship game. Imagine that. There's security tapes of that somewhere, him coming and going out of that place. Man, this league. Think about that guy. You're a billionaire who owns, the most successful sports franchise in sports in the last 20 years, and you're going to a $40 hand job spot in a strip mall. Where Jupiter, Florida. Man, they can get a 5-star porn star for like what, 15,000, 20,000. She'll sign a non-disclosure agreement and she'll give you 8 hours of her time in private and do whatever you want. And nobody will ever know a fucking thing happened. But nope, these guys will still they'll go the bargain basement route. That's amazing to me. Nah, man, it was Feliciano, Al. It was Feliciano. Trust me, I saw it. It was clear as day. I'm not saying Dawkins didn't not do a good job because the offensive line clearly didn't, but it was Feliciano. Morse. They went that. If Allen would have went to his right, he would have got it. He literally might have scored. The right was clean. It was just right into the A gap behind the left guard and between the center, and it was just boom. It was stonewalled. And then I had some Bills fan say, why didn't he just reach out and they would have gave him the first down? Well, if he reaches out and gets the ball knocked out of his hands, it's not like a touchdown situation where he's on the goal line where they blow the play dead. No, he's still got to protect the ball. So he said, well, if he just sort of reached out, he would have got it. I'm like, no. I think he got the first down on the fourth. They still didn't give it to him. Replacing owners is a little more complicated than replacing Rudy. Yeah, they wouldn't. Oh, they would have loved to do that. They would have loved to have Daniel Snyder set on a pike, but these multi-billionaires are going to protect each other, man. It's like we run shit here. It's like, what's the guy from Training Day? Giving that big speech, Denzel Washington. You think you can do this shit to me? Like he literally does own them. He owns the league, half of it, a piece of it. So they're not gonna fuck these owners. The owners have supreme power. Not like the NBA, who will sacrifice their owners, or change them so much. Because these NBA teams, there's the very profitable teams, and there's ones that just get carried by the Lakers, the Knicks, the very handful of teams, and they have their TV money. Orlando Magic don't make any money. Like the Oklahoma Thunder don't make any money. The Milwaukee Bucks. Do you think the Milwaukee Bucks pull a big haul money-wise? Hell no. Play in Milwaukee. Think they pull big TV money, even though they have Giannis? No. The Lakers could be half-assed. The Knicks have been bad for almost 30 years, and they pull shitloads of money through MSG. Shitloads of money. Antonio Brown just broke the law 2 years ago, and he's praised by the Bucks, and they take Gruden off the Ring of Honor. Dude, you know what's sick? You know what? I'll do you one better, Damager. Johnny, I'll do you one better. Warren Sapp is still on there. I know he got caught with hookers and coke. I don't know if he has a domestic. He might. I don't think so. But I know he got caught with hookers, right? It's not that. It's Warren Sapp running 70 yards to blindside cheap shot Chad Clifton against the Green Bay Packers in Tampa and dislocate his hip. I remember that play so well. And it was the biggest cheap shot piece of shit play I've ever seen in my life, where he literally, it had nothing to do with the play. It was like an INT return for a touchdown. And he literally runs across the field. Like, and Clifton is nowhere near the play, and he just blows him, dislocates his hip. And after the game, he's just like, I was just playing the play. That's all I was doing. You play to the whistle's blown. I don't give a shit. Blah, 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 blah. That's what you do. Like, it was just like, that's a real dirtbag. Real dirtbag. I know he slipped in the draft for weed, which was bullshit. He's a Hall of Famer, but that's a piece of shit. The piece of shit does that. And, you know, let's just put it this way. The NFL MVP, and I think it was 1988, or no, I think it was 86. I'm sorry. Well, no, it was Timmy Smith. He was arrested in a crack house that week. Only got ever hit 200. Got arrested in a DC crack house with Marion Barry. That's your league MVP for the Super Bowl the week. Imagine if that would happen now. The league MVP. I mean, you have Tyreek Hill, who's, you know, the best track athlete I've ever seen play football, on tape, telling his girl that, bitch, you ought to fear me too. Bitch, you ought to fear me too. And he's had his son removed by DHS how many times? You want to talk about you got to practice what you preach, NFL. You really don't pass the smell test. You really don't. Allen gets that sneak 9 times out of 10, I think, going forward, increased our chance. Yeah, man, I don't mind it. Go Bills. I like the call. If Bledsoe was our quarterback, would have wouldn't have guaranteed got a QB sneak. No, hell no. That's stiff. No. Morris got burned bad on that play. We used up whole season without him giving up a sack. It just, they got knocked off the ball, man. They just got blown off the ball in the run game. And that's part of your run game. And they put the ball in the hands of their best player, and that's Allen. And I felt like he got it on the down before. He didn't, and I would do that same play again and have confidence that he'd get it. Warren Fat used to go after Favre too. Yeah, they had their back and forth, man. And he got into Sherman's face after the game. Was Clifton's career. I think he played after that. I know he had surgery and was out for a while. I don't know if he was ever the same. I mean, you have your hip fucking dislocated. I'm sure you're walking fucked up right now. But yeah, I remember he literally dislodged his hip. You could see it on the tape. Like it was really bad. If you guys go search it up on YouTube, you'll see it. And it was just like horrible cheap shot. Didn't get suspended for it. Nothing ever happened to him for it. But it was really, really just a real bush league. Like you remember Gronk forearm to the back of the head of Trey White. I mean, that's just so blatant and obvious. Like, imagine him running to do that to Trey White 70 yards away from where the play is happening, just because he could do it, or he felt like he could do it. Let me read some of the plays. Sucks we don't play again for 2 weeks. Yeah, man. You know, that's what it's just like. You don't get to relax for 2 weeks. You just have to sit and chew on this shit, man. You know, you just get to just. That's the thing. That's what I'm bitter. I will admit I'm bitter about that. I'm really bitter about that. Maybe I'm a selfish fuck, and I don't know. Maybe I'm being a Bills homer. I root for this team to win. What do you want from me? I'm not going to apologize for that. But I would like for them to call a timeout. That was their last timeout, man. You know what, Bills? Maybe you call your timeout there. You're right there. And you got a chance to spike it. You give yourself, what was it, 22 seconds? You got 3 plays. So maybe you do spike it. You save your timeout. You know, you call your timeout. You regroup. Maybe you want to catch them in a personnel group. I don't know. It seemed like it was rushed. They round the clock. The ball went out of bounds. They called Allen down right parallel with the marker, and they call it a first down. The the eye in the sky says no. So who's the eye in the sky? They call down. Who's they? You don't know. They'll never tell you who. So that's something else that's just like bullshit. Up there with Gronk and Sue, Haynesworth, head stomp. Yeah, there's a jackknife power bomb Jim Brown took from a Green Bay linebacker back in like 86 or something like that, 85. Somewhere between 85 and 87. You go look it up. It's like that guy got ejected. I remember that. That guy got ejected. We better destroy, dude. Yeah, I mean, after this, I mean, I feel like I want to throw up. I really do. I'm trying hard, man. I'm really trying hard. They had one. But even then, go Bills. I admit. You know what? In hindsight, use your timeout. Get your best play call. Everybody make sure you're aligned, assigned, and you can go. But you got to operate in those rigors. You know, you got to be able to, you know, function and fire. If you don't, you got to thrive in chaos. Otherwise you'll drown. So, you know, the waters are not always going to be, you know, smooth sailing. So, you know, the football, I remember Dick Duran had to say, I remember after a game, they just got killed. I forget it was, I think it was Miami. You know what it was? It was a terrible time. It was the first Bills game in Toronto. They got beat by the Dolphins, not a good team. The Dolphins were 11-5 that year. They were a good team. It was the Wildcat year. And the Bills had started off whatever the 5-1, and then it just went to the toilet. And then Jerry Sullivan asked him, he's like, oh, don't you feel like you put your team in a bit of a crisis there if you don't do such and such thing? And Dick Duran, without missing a beat, he's like, well, you know, frankly, Jerry, every game is a crisis. He said that, and it's one of those things that'll always stick with me. And you know, it's like every game was a crisis. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. That was funny. Every game is a crisis. You can undo it, man. It's all good. It shit happens. It's an accident. But fuck, I can't believe I'm smiling, man. I'm just so sick. You guys fire away. Unload. I'll respond to your stuff in the comments if you know. But again, simple recap. 2 for 5 in the red zone. Penalties, wiping out touchdowns. No flag on the Henry run where Poyer, like my man, I think it's a tight end. I'm pretty sure it's a tight end for the Tennessee Titans. First guy, he starts with an F. Two hands full of pads, jersey, just same thing as the Emmanuel Sanders hold on the Knox end around run. Same thing, same exact thing. No, and nothing. He's running for fun. Somebody's got to tackle him. You can't. Everybody, you know, one guy. You still got 10 men. Somebody's got to get there, and it didn't happen. So okay, missed call, got caught in the wash. There's still a lot of football left, and not scoring a touchdown there to come out of the half when you want to double dip. That sucked. That sucked. That really pissed me off. You get 3, okay, great. You retake the lead, but you gotta get 7s, man. This team scores 31. This team scores 30 plus, no problem. They still haven't played their best game on offense. They still haven't played their best game on offense. Complete football game. This game, you know what? That's what complimentary football is. The defense will go out there and say in the press conference, the first 2 guys who were up off the rip were Hyde and Poyer, saying we didn't play good enough. We were not good. Blah blah blah. That's what you do as a captains. You do that, and the offense picked them up. The special teams tried to pick people up. You know, Bass was good, Hawk was good. So this team plays, and if you watch from 1 o'clock till 11 whatever time, almost midnight on Sundays, you will see a lot of bad football, and you will see a lot of teams that play not even one phase football. They play like a quarter phase football, one drive football, and that's it. Watch the Giants. Watch that Miami Jacksonville game. You want to talk about shit football? That was masterclass, folly reel, dumb coaching. Who can make the least dumbest, who can make the dumbest mistake at the worst possible time, or who can make the least dumbest mistake at the least worst. That's all it was, is who could out mistake who, or it was terrible. That's all it was. It was garbage. But Miami, yeah, man, they really did, and they'll have to own it. Somebody's gonna get fired for that. Yeah, they don't have anybody, and I don't think Gesicki. I think Gesicki was a Tannenbaum pick. He was in the last Tannenbaum draft. There was always one. That's why we don't actually ever. I don't even know if we get screwed. I just feel like we've beaten ourselves, man. In the last, say, the games that they lost. They were last year. Let's just go back to 2020. With the whole. You're not. They weren't ready to beat KC. Maybe Tennessee. I feel like you beat that team, even though the Bills are 1-2 against them in the last 3 years. 2-2 in the last 4 years, right? 2-2, and they're just, unfortunately, the last 2 times they weren't. The ball didn't bounce their way. They didn't get enough breaks. They didn't make enough of their own breaks. So you got to make your own breaks, man. You can't depend on those refs. It's like last week, if you're going to take your penalties, take your penalties. Fuck it. Just know that you're going to do them. Like, you know what? If I'm going to get the laundry, I'm going to fucking make sure I got my money's worth on it. That's what I would do. I'm going to push the tightrope. That's the way I would do it. If they want to play loose and fast with the rules, or hard and fast with them, then I'm just going to be like, all right, fuck it. Let's roll. Like, if I know, if I was boxing and I knew I had a ref that would let me work inside, and if I was throwing something inside and an elbow happened to slip in on a follow through, I'm like, fuck, I'm throwing it. Especially if I got the guy in the corner, it's coming. I mean, that shit happened to me, so got split open. I'll read some of the comments, man. You're good, Neil, man. You're good. It was just a slip up. It was just a mistake, man. Just a mistake. Here, Campbell threw golf under the bus. Yeah, I mean, coaches do that stuff when they're like, I don't know, they're 0-6. Like, who on that football team's indispensable except the guy they just took in the first round, Sewell? Nobody. I mean, we weren't quite that bad for a while. I think the worst the Bills ever were. They ended up being what? The year they were able to pick Darius, 3-13, 4-12. That. I mean, when you're 0-6 and probably not going to win, might be the first 0-17, and then they were an 0-16 team to get the guy that they just traded to the Rams. That's tough, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough L to take. What's up, man? How you doing, bro? Execution today. Which phase? In totality, I would give a 6 out of 10 because the offense and the special teams carried the game. Defense, I mean, and also the defense played excellent in the first quarter. It's not a 1-quarter game, and then your offense doesn't punch the football in, but it gets scores. It gets 2 field goals, and then the defense gets gashed on a 76-yard rip, but there was a hold on that didn't get called. 2 touchdowns get taken off the board on holds for the Bills. So I gotta say, like it's an L, 5.5, a 6. It's not, fucking not good enough, man. Not good enough. You know, the league says you get a first down, then the league says you don't get a first. Well, the zebras on the field say you get a first down, and the league says you don't. So it's all good, man. Shit happens, bro. Doug's a good guy. Neil's a good guy. You know, it's too late for the trolls. There's no such thing as Tennessee fans. So like that's a myth. Remember when they had to like pay people to win a poll? I don't know, what was it? The Fox poll. Armando Salguero just tweeted this 15 minutes ago. He says he's a Miami beat writer, works for Outkick now. The Bills lost tonight, but I respect that they went down putting the football in their best players' hands. I'm gonna put the tweet up here. I've got it. Can I share this with you guys? Let me see. Copy link to tweet. All right, I'm putting it in the room now. It's the Hyde. It's the Henry run. It's the Henry run. And he's clearly held here. I mean, it's obvious. You're watching this replay. It's like it's the tight ends. He's got him. He's got 2 hands of jersey, and he's taking him for a ride. Yep. And there goes Henry. I can't see the safety, but he fucking tackles him right to the ground. But you know what I like? You know what I like though? I know we have a head coach and a GM that are fully backed by an owner, and the owner is gaining a voice in the league. You know, he's still a young owner. You know, there's a lot of, you know, like the Hunt family, for example, and the Rooneys and the Maras. Those are the guy, and the Crafts and the Jerry Joneses. Those and the Cronkies. You know, Cronky doesn't care. He just cares about if the team pulls a profit. He does not care. He's not going to, you know, get pissed at the league office. But Bean McDermott will make sure the league is like, yo, what the fuck are you doing here? You're calling this, but look what happened here. It cost our team a touchdown. A lot of game to be played, but still, like, if you're going to call this, you got to call this too. Yeah, it just seemed rushed, and Go Bills put up the point. Maybe they should have took a timeout, you know, and just kind of calm themselves down. You've got 20 plus seconds. You're inside the 5. You know, you're going to run what, 5-second plays, 3-second plays into the end zone that are going to go in for, you know, you're trying to go in for scores, you know, so yeah, I mean, what's the chances of you getting stopped outside the end zone in those instances? Very little. I mean, not even to the point where you couldn't run up and spike it, because you're right there. It's not like you hit a 40-yard play down a field and there's 10 seconds and you're up against it to spike it and you're on fringe field goal territory. No, it's like you're like, you know, these guys are 6'4", 6'5" plus, and you're like, you fall forward to get a touchdown. So yeah, I put the link in the room there. I don't know if you guys got it or not, but Poyer is clearly held on that play, clearly held, and nothing happened. And yeah, this is 2 straight weeks where the league just, you know, decides that, you know, they want to ruin primetime games. That's what they're in the business of doing. They want to take primetime games and say, you know, here, like, you know, have at it. You know, just go and, you know, ruin this shit for everybody. At least for Bills fans. Bills fans, it gets ruined for, but maybe the league, they don't care. They've got their money in hand, and the Titans, they get a win. So I like how this guy retweeted me. His tweet gets all the traffic and mine gets nothing, but, you know, maybe I'm just being a greedy fuck. good call. Dude, that's the point. And look at the line. It's even tilted. That's the funny part. It's like the line that the network gives is even tilted. It's like he's right there. He's right there, and it doesn't even get a replay. That's the crazy part, is you get the self-hating Bills fan that still like still has a loser's mentality and just loser's mentality. They think they're going to go in and lose every game. They have no faith in anything. They're not confident in anything. It's generally reflecting on themselves, and they live in loathing. That's what I think. It's much easier to just prepare for defeat and know that it's going to happen than be let down when you feel like victory. Like, that's why this feels so bad right now, is we all felt like we were going to win this game. I think everybody in this room right now is pretty much an optimist and thinks positively about the team and is confident in the team. And no matter what situation we were ever in as Bills fans, we would always get behind our team and support whatever quarterback it was, whether it was Tyrod, Fitzpatrick, Trent Edwards, we always wanted them to win. You know, we knew we were up against it. They were up against it more 9 times out of 10, but we still, you know, come on. I mean, Neil, there's 11 more weeks, man. That's another thing we got to remember. It's 11 weeks. 11 weeks of football in the NFL is 2 lifetimes, man. A lot of stuff can transpire in 11 weeks. A lot. Good, bad, and indifferent. So we really have to keep our heads. We really do. I know how the downward spiral can happen, and we can be such, just, oh, this is it. This is it. You know how Josh Allen said last week, look, we're 4-1. Last time I checked, they weren't handing out trips to the playoffs at 4-1. Last I checked, they weren't handing out trips to the playoffs at 4-2, and nobody was getting eliminated at 4-2. So we have to remember that. Let me read some of the comments here. There's only one Dawson. Yep. Sally, I guess revenge will have to wait until in the playoff. Yeah, I mean, if you play him in the playoffs, you still got 11 weeks, man. A lot can happen. A lot can happen. I'm just really, let's take away a positive, right? Let's take away the big positive. Let's just step back, have the $20,000 from space view, right? The big vista. Let's look at it from, Mount Everest. You get to see 360 at, top of the world. Our quarterback, Buffalo Bills quarterback, pretty calmly and pretty decisive, boom, led them down the field. They could have went for the tie. Yes, they could have. They were in position, could have tied it. Boom. What did Titans do? They didn't even take their timeouts. They were like, we're playing for overtime. We're either going to stop them here, they're going to kick a field goal, whatever. They had no interest in taking their timeouts. They didn't even want the ball in their offense's hands. That played pretty well in the second half. They didn't even want that. So they were like, okay, Bills had the hammer. They were swinging it. They had that opportunity. They gave that to us. The quarterback gave that. He went out there like a top guy at his position would, and that's what they get paid to do. You win games in the fourth quarter, you lead your team down, and you go for it. Again, everybody in last year's AFC Championship game, damn, they were kicking field goals and they sort of scored touchdowns. They could have kicked the field goal and tied it. They could have kicked the field goal and tied it and went to overtime. You still don't know what happens in overtime. In retrospect, obviously, hindsight, life doesn't work like that. So they went for it. I like the play call. I like the decision to go. The result of the play call. The result is what I don't like. I'm not going to say I don't even not like the play call. It's the result I don't like, and that's okay. I cannot like the result. We could have used just give it to him. You got the just give it to him. I'll never forget Andre Reed. Just give it to him. See, you have things like that. That's what I mean. You have things like that, and I'll always I should pull that one out of my ass for the self-hating Bills fan, the misery monger Bills fan out there who just loves. They just seem to bask in the misery, like they love naysaying themselves. Like, why are you a fan of the team if you seem to gush in them like losing more than you enjoy them winning? Like Corey. That's why he had to get out of here, because it's like, dude, you don't even enjoy when they win because you don't like how they win. Now, do you like how they win? Or would you come in here and just be a defeatist loser mentality? They're never going to do this, this, and this. If they would have, well, no, that's just what people like that do. That's who they are in life. They're like that with every aspect of their life, Somebody sent me a meme about, when you're arguing with somebody about online, when you're in a heated discussion, you got to remember this is what they look like. And it's just some really big, egregious fat guy behind an old style, like box computer. He's just like morbidly obese. And that's where he lives his life. Like every interaction, every argument, that's what he wakes up and goes to sleep to do. And that's a lot of people that's most people online, unfortunately. They just want to elicit a reaction and just go. They don't care how it turns out because there's no responsibility for it, no repercussions for how they talk. I like watching Peyton and Eli are great damager. They're fun because they tell you, and they do it in a fun way. They're brothers. They were quarterbacks, and they make it like the broadcast that they have, that they went so like PC after the Booger McFarlane, and I forget who else they had in the booth. They had Witten on there, and it was just terrible. And then they had Booger and that stupid like motorized thing going up and down with his like it was just terrible. They got them off there, and they went like uber, like, oh, we have real hardcore football guy, Louis Riddick, who's the Patriot bathwater guzzler supreme and likes to talk tough on Twitter. And I'm not a fan. Not a fan. I used to be, but I'm not. I'm like, dude, you talk too bold on Twitter. Like, you played in the league, you're on TV. Calm the fuck down. Take yourself way too serious. KC will, if they do, they do. They, you know what it was for me? It was like Dallas and the Patriots. I was sitting there saying, can both these fucking teams lose? Can both of them lose, please? Just both of you. At the end of the day, the Bills are up 2 games in the division. It's not a really good division, top to bottom. It's top heavy with the Bills. So 11 weeks, a lot of football to be played. I'm really pissed though. Don't get. But nobody can come at me that I know in life, because I'm like, look, we have a better football team than any team around here. Our quarterback is better than any team around here and most quarterbacks in the league. There's 11 weeks to play. What are you going to say? Like, there's nothing. You know what happens to, like you say, Damager, they'll go on a losing streak now. Yeah, there's a lot of injuries. I really hope Dawson's okay, man, because he's just coming. And I'm going to, if anybody can find an update on him, I'd appreciate it, because it's really frustrating, what the condition of his hand. I mean, I search it on Twitter. I look up latest, trying to find anything. I saw he was questionable and he was out. So let me look for, hopefully the latest, and mostly everybody talking about the pass to Allen late. So that's all I'm getting here. I'm not really getting any updates on him or anything like that. Just, it's still early yet. We'll probably know tomorrow when McDermott goes to the podium. I think they practice a couple of days tomorrow. Like, they don't really practice. They just kind of do like a couple of light practices and a run, like in a lift, and on Thursday they leave because the CBA they have to be out of the building by Thursday. They need to give them a certain amount of days off, a block of days off. They have to be gone. But the guys, who aren't, they have to stay in the city. They can't travel. That's a lot of the team. Like they can put out whatever number they want. The truth is, a lot of the team isn't. A lot of the guys in the league aren't. They just can get up there and lie because they don't have to prove it to anybody. But they protect their team. They don't throw their team under the bus. Like Mike Zimmer's an asshole. Like what an idiot. Oh, I just don't understand. I just don't understand it. Like what you don't understand? Somebody doesn't want to do something with their body. What's not to understand, idiot? They go out there and they put their bodies on the line every week. Granted, they get paid a king's ransom. It's a kid's game, but it's a serious game. Anything could happen. You see guys get taken off on stretchers 2 nights in a row now. But don't tell me you don't understand it, dude. Like, what an idiot. Tone deaf, dude. Buffalo Buck hated these announcers. Always on primetime games. They're going to try and hate on Allen. Today was on he can't throw to his left and talking like every play he went there. Yeah, that was I don't know who that was. I think that was Riddick. I mean, I think a lot of he's a right-handed quarterback scramble. I mean, obviously. I mean, he had a few nice plays throwing across his body to his left. The run play, though, is just – they can go after the fact and say, well, Beasley was open. And, well, Beasley was open because the guy that was covering Beasley drove down on Allen when he came past the line of scrimmage. That's why Beasley was so open. I mean, I can't imagine. I've watched a handful of NFL games, and the speed in which the game is played, it's amazing. Like the way they're able to make these decisions in hair trigger time is insane. Like go watch the touchdown pass to Sweeney, his first career touchdown tonight. It is razor. Like the margin to get that pass in there is like, God, it was paper thin, and Allen fit it in there, touchdown. So I'll take the good and the bad with Allen because in the last 2.5 years, the good has been way better than the bad. So, and I watch other quarterbacks around the league, and I'm like, look, you can always have Daniel Jones. You can always take your pick. Carson Wentz. You could always have Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff, Tua. You could always be hoping that your rookie, is gonna do it for you. You could have one of those guys. You could have Baker Mayfield. You could have Teddy Bridgewater. You could have Sam Darnold. There's always, take your pick. You could have Jalen Hurts. You could have Tyler Heineke. You could have Ryan Fitzpatrick back. You can have an old broken down Matt Ryan. Or who do you think some of the fan bases in the league would rather have? Josh Allen or their quarterback? Ask Dallas fans. I know a couple of Dallas fans. Honest ones. You know what they tell me? They'll take Allen over Dak because he's a better player. Period. Bye is not a good time. No, it's not a good time, dude. Oh, that's the problem. I think it's Vasily. I don't know how to say your name properly, dude. I'm sorry. Yeah, man. Like I remember last year, the thing that Hyde said after the game, like he said it later in the season when they asked him, the team went on a winning streak. They won they secured home field. They didn't secure home field, but they had assured themselves the 2nd seed, and they were on a hellacious winning streak. And they were asking him about, your team didn't lose it. The team didn't lose a game. You went on. I think it was after the Colts game, because I believe I think he batted down the pass from Rivers at the end of the game, right? I believe it was him or Poyer, but they were at the podium, or he was at the podium at the end, and he said, well, they acted like they won the Super Bowl at the end of that game, and we knew it was week whatever, and there's no way in hell. We had a lot of football to be played. We blew that game. We know that, and there's no way like we were going to allow for that to define who we were. So I respect that, and I'm glad the team took on that mentality and went out and won, what, 7, 8, 9 games in a row, 10 games in a row. So, fuck, if that happens, you ain't going to hear me. I'll be pissed about this game, but I ain't going to look back on it. I mean, it's not going to be like the Hail Mary where you knew that replay was going to it's on the next gen lead, you know, you just see it all the time. You're just going to have it thrown in your face all the time. Like tonight, it's like, how many times the Music City Miracle? Just how many times? Stupid shit. Like how many times? Tired, old. Like if the Bills play the Giants, what are you going to see? Wide right. It's like weak old milk. Weak old milk. Come on. That's such low-hanging fruit. League has no creativity. For a league that gives you so much material, it has no creativity. From certain, because they're a fail-safe business. They don't have to do much. They've sold themselves already. At least we have a still Neil, man. You know the Bills are going to carry the day, and it just to talk about it, to discuss it. It really sucks. It really, really sucks. It sucks to have to talk about this and think about this for 2 weeks, you know, unless a trade happens or, you know, something crazy happens. And I mean, I'm not going to be able to get on until after the Dolphins game on Sunday, which is going to suck. I love coming on here and talking to you guys, you know, that's why I'm dragging this out so damn long. I'm on here 2 hours, but it's 3 a.m. guys. I'm going to crash. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we all have to go into a bye week like this. It's fucking sucks because they shoulda, coulda, woulda tonight. And like the Steelers game, there was more frustrating than the Steelers game. Sorry, that was an accident. More frustrating than the Steelers game, that this game was, you know, the Steelers game was just filled, you know, with just the offense. It was just right there, man, just right there. I don't, you know what? I root for the Sabres, Neil. You know, as a byproduct of listening to so much Bill stuff, you know, you hear about the Sabres, you heard about Sabres for years and years and years. I heard about them ever since I would listen to WGR and stuff, and I started listening to them back in 2007, late 2007 or mid 2007, and when you could start streaming radio online, and I didn't know you could do that, and I discovered you could. I was like, oh, this is cool, and I kind of just listened to it. I wouldn't really pay, and it just kind of caught me. It caught me, and I was like, I started. So I would just root for them, you know. I'm like, okay. And then they end up being owned by the same people, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna really root for them, and you know, hopefully they turn it around. They're in a tough, but I'm not going to sit here to pretend to know anything like I do about football. And I don't know, like, I'm not this dearth of football knowledge. I have pretty good memory. I've watched the Bills, you know, longer than some of you have been alive. I know that. And I love the team with all my heart. And you guys know that about me. So, but in terms of the Sabres, I haven't developed that yet. You know, that's going to take some time. I'm not going to be one of these phonies that's going to just listen to things and then regurgitate them on here and pretend I know something that I don't. That's just not who I am. I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about the game. Like if you ask me to talk about boxing, I can talk about boxing. Boxing was my first love. I can talk about that shit. I can talk about the sweet science. I can talk about the, you know, Kingsbury rules. I you know, that was my shit, you know. So I love it. You know, I still do. That's why I said the Saturday before that was not a great heavyweight fight. It was a slog fest between two guys who were gassed after 2.5, 3 rounds, and it just turned into a war of who was just going to hit who was going to hit the other with the right punch at the right time to finish it. That's all it was. That's why you saw both guys go down multiple times. The conditioning wasn't there. The skill level wasn't there. The technique wasn't there. This was not a Holyfield Bow 1, 2, or 3. It was none of those things. So like you know, but you can say those because the people that watched those fights and really ingested those fights really are in no position to talk about them anymore, aren't alive, or don't know who those guys are. You know, they heard the names, but they didn't watch them in their prime. Terrible, just a terrible garbage clown show. That's what that was, Neil. Thanks, Vis. How do you say your name right, dude? Like, how am I saying? It's not Vassilis Tessimus. It sounds like a medieval name, man. It sounds like something out of like Conan or something. Sounds, yeah, it's different. But Doug, Buffalo Buck, thanks. Neil's always in. You can jump in. You get in here. I know sometimes you're doing shit. Go Bills, you were cool, man. You come in here. You might have been in here before, but if I don't remember you, slap me in the face. I should remember you. Flybaby's always fucking rocking out in here. Damagers, a hammer. Trevor, Steve is fucking filling up the room with good takes. All you guys, man. I know a lot of you guys have lives and shit like that, but if I miss somebody, I apologize. Greek and Russian, but I don't really speak it, so don't ask me to speak it, man. My dad wasn't around to teach me. All right, peace out, guys. Love you all. Go Bills. Fuck. Sucks to sit on this for 2 weeks, man. It really, really does. They had a chance, 5-1 victory Tuesday, but we got a good team on our hands, and we have to hold solace with that. This team's good. Can't fucking, it's the same record as last year. Same record. And they lost the 2 games that they lost. They didn't look near as good. They looked sloppy and sad against the KC, and they looked really bad in Tennessee last year. They looked really bad. So that's not going to console anybody, but this team will get better. So peace. Go Bills. Love you all. Fly baby. You're on Twitter, but you don't really fuck with it too much. You kind of an observer. But anytime you guys want to hit me up on there, talk Bills bullshit, Vicious155, Instagram, same thing, Vicious155. I interact on there all the time. So love you all. Peace, guys. Go Bills.